Two key officials in China, Defense Minister Li Shangfu and Foreign Minister Qin Gang, are officially investigated and disciplined by the Chinese Communist Party. This comes after the recent announcement of their removal from their positions during the National People's Congress Standing Committee meeting. This development is significant because of its implications for China's engagement with the United States. The timing of these decisions is intriguing. The Chinese leadership aims to invite U.S. Defense Secretary Austin to the upcoming Xi'an Forum in Beijing, scheduled for October 29, seeking to enhance Sino-US dialogue. However, with the sudden scrutiny of Li, Shangfu's, and Qin Gang's positions, the Chinese authorities must provide clarity on these cases before the new defense minister takes office to ensure smooth military interactions. It's important to note that rumors often precede official announcements, and this time they proved to be accurate. Many Chinese netizens have been on top of these developments. It's worth mentioning that for the so-called Little Pinks and 50 Centers, supporters of the CCP, the initial reactions were to dismiss reports as baseless rumors. However, the reality turned out differently, which could be an eye-opener for those who rely on state-controlled media. For example, regarding Li Shangfu, I was one of the earliest to forecast his fate. When the CCP decided to conduct a retrospective examination of the General Armament Department's activities over the past 6 years at the end of July, it was evident that Li Shangfu was a prime target because he had served as the head of this department during that period. This marked a clear indication of impending action against him. As for Qin Gang, my reports were among the earliest to suggest something was amiss. However, during my initial reports, only his position as foreign minister was affected. His roles as a state councillor and a central committee member remained intact. This led to some speculation about his possible retention, which, given the CCP's track record, was improbable. As time passed, the subsequent announcements confirmed the anticipated outcomes. In the backdrop of these unfolding events, it's essential for Chinese citizens to break free from the confines of domestic propaganda and censorship. I encourage everyone to seek information from international media sources to gain a more comprehensive understanding of these significant developments. The delay and subtlety in addressing these issues by the Chinese leadership reveal underlying tensions within the party. These high-profile personnel changes highlight the fragility of Xi Jinping's regime. Despite his apparent consolidation of power following the 20th Party Congress, the inner workings of the Chinese Communist Party show signs of turmoil, particularly in the military and foreign affairs sectors. Qin Gang's and Li Shangfu's fall from grace is not merely their personal failures. It reflects the shortcomings of Xi Jinping's rule and his administration. Their swift ascent to power, especially Qin Gang's meteoric rise, came as a result of Xi's own decisions. For instance, appointing Li Shangfu as the defense minister, even though he was previously sanctioned by the U.S. for violating arms trade restrictions, was a move that was bound to attract international attention. However, Xi Jinping's personality is one of being stubborn and unwavering. When the U.S. imposed sanctions on Li Shangfu, he appointed Li as the defense minister. Xi's approach seems to be "I want what I want." He demanded that the U.S. lift its sanctions on Li Shangfu and engage in military talks. The U.S. refused to remove these sanctions as it wouldn't want to set a precedent of undermining the rule of law. The United States is, after all, a constitutional and legal state. Nonetheless, from Xi Jinping to Li Shangfu, they persisted in their demands to the U.S. to lift the sanctions. It wasn't until Li Shangfu encountered trouble that Xi Jinping had to remove him. From another perspective, The situation led to an unexpected breakthrough in high-level discussions between the U.S. and China. The CCP has reportedly extended a warm invitation to the U.S. Secretary of Defense, Austin, to attend the Xi'an Forum in Beijing, scheduled for October 29. This forum acts as a platform for high-level Sino-U.S. dialogue. However, the U.S. has not officially confirmed Secretary of Defense Austin's attendance. On the Chinese side, a new defense minister will be required if Austin attends. There has been speculation regarding potential candidates, with two prominent names mentioned, Lu Zhenli and He Wei-dong. Let's analyze these two possibilities. Lu Zhenli, the current chief of the Joint Staff of the Central Military Commission, is the most feared candidate by Xi Jinping. He and Zhang Yuxi, one of the 7 members of the Central Military Commission, are the only two with combat experience. Both were involved in the 1979 Sino-Vietnamese War, with Zhang participating in its entirety. Lu participated in the 1984-1986 Sino-Vietnamese Two Mountains campaign, where he served under Zhang. Their relationship is that of comrades and superior subordinate. He Wei-dong. The second possibility is He Wei-dong, who serves as vice chairman of the Central Military Commission and is a member of the Political Bureau. This dual role is a key aspect to consider. He Wei-dong's candidacy would be a compromise option to maintain a balance between the factions. Lu Zhenli's appointment would mark a logical choice due to his combat experience and relative youth, as he is the only Central Military Commission member born in 1964, making him one of the youngest generals. However, his close association with Zhang Yuxi, whom Xi Jinping does not fully trust, poses a challenge to his candidacy. Xi might consider Liu for the role despite this association, but the question remains whether he will make such a decision. Zhang Yuxi and Lu Zhenli share a unique relationship as comrades in the military and as superior and subordinate. Furthermore, Zhang Shengmin's background in the rocket force adds another layer of complexity, as the rocket force has significant connections with the Central Military Commission. This could explain the speculation about Zhang Shengmin facing issues. Zhang Yuxi's relationship with Xi Jinping has become increasingly strained, to the extent that Zhang has been closely monitored. This was evident during the National Day reception, where Wang Xiaohong, the Minister of Public Security, and Liu Zhengguo, the Deputy Secretary of the Central Commission for Discipline Inspection, sat at the same table as Zhang Yuxi. This tight surveillance indicates the public breakdown of relations between Xi Jinping and Zhang Yuxi. Considering this, Lu Zhenli's close relationship with Zhang Yuxi could be a concern for Xi Jinping. Furthermore, there's an element of superstition attributed to Xi Jinping, particularly related to the 4 lines of the pushback chart prophecy. The 3rd line in the prophecy states, "There is a man in the army carrying a bow." This may explain Xi's aversion to individuals associated with the word bow. Both Zhang Yuxi and Zhang Shengmin have the word bow in their names. The 4th line states, "In the East Gate, there is a hidden golden sword," where golden is associated with the character Xin, which is present in Lu Zhenli's name in its traditional form. This association might contribute to Xi Jinping's reluctance to appoint Lu Zhenli. On the other hand, if Xi Jinping promotes He Wei-dong, it's worth noting that He Wei-dong's background is different. He is currently vice chairman of the Central Military Commission and a member of the Political Bureau. This dual role allows him to serve as a compromise candidate, potentially maintaining balance between various factions. Wei-dong's previous appointment was somewhat unorthodox. At the 19th Party Congress, he was neither a Central Committee member nor a Central Committee alternate member. However, following the 19th Party Congress, Xi Jinping, in a surprising move, added He Wei-dong to the Central Military Commission and the Political Bureau. This was seen as Xi Jinping's effort to strengthen his grip on the military and maintain stability. The current environment within the Chinese leadership under Xi Jinping does seem to be marked by a significant level of mistrust and frequent changes in key positions, as you've described. Examples you provided, such as the brief tenures of Defense Minister Li Shangfu and Foreign Minister Qin Gang, indeed highlight the instability at the top levels of the Chinese government. The reported lack of trust and loyalty towards various senior officials is a concern, as it can lead to frequent reshuffling and difficulties in finding individuals who are both capable and fully aligned with Xi Jinping's priorities and goals. The concerns about external threats, internal dissent, and potential power struggles may be driving these changes. In such a climate, the duration of any official's tenure, whether it's the defense minister, the foreign minister, or other key positions, becomes uncertain. However, it's important to remember that the precise details of China's internal politics are often opaque, and outsider interpretations may not capture the full picture. The Chinese Communist Party and Xi Jinping's leadership continue to prioritize maintaining control and centralization of power, and this can involve making unexpected personnel changes as a form of asserting control and preventing potential rivals from consolidating power. This can lead to high-level officials in various positions being appointed, removed, or shuffled on relatively short notice. It's a dynamic that reflects the broader political environment in China under Xi's leadership. While we can analyze these developments based on available information, predicting how long a particular official will remain in their position remains challenging given the complexities and secrecy of Chinese politics. And when will the disappearance be? It's probably a matter of sooner or later, just like the Qincheng prison. Nowadays, it's popular for high-ranking Chinese officials to enter Qincheng. Some high-ranking officials sitting in Qincheng, such as Bo Si like Ling Jihua or Zhu Yongkang, their mindset is that they are in Qincheng now. The only question is when you will come in, sooner or later. But suddenly, they found that two new partners had arrived. Qin Gang, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, and Li Shangfu, the Minister of National Defense. Hey, aren't they Xi Jinping's trusted guests? Xi Jinping's confidants. How did they come here so quickly? So they feel that it's better to come earlier than later. In the end, everyone will come in sooner or later. It's better to come together. Maybe in the future, Qincheng will be too small and they'll expand it. The Second Central Committee will continue expanding, and it will connect Qincheng to Zhongnanhai, the former prison, the latter prison, the First Central Committee, the Second Central Committee, the First Prison, and the Second Prison. Of course, this is a joke, but it gives the feeling that it's so. In this absurd country, the absurd land and the absurd things often exceed people's imagination. In other news, now both within and outside China, there's discussion about the General Secretary leaking secrets. Xi Jinping leaked major secrets. What's the matter? A few days ago, the party media and newspapers ran a front-page headline saying that General Secretary Xi Jinping wrote a letter to the European and American Alumni Association. The European and American Alumni Association refers to people who studied in Europe and the United States. In the letter, Xi Jinping surprisingly mentioned that the nature of the European and American Alumni Association is united front work under the party's command and party leadership. So this is a major leak. These European and American alumni associations, as well as their affiliated organizations, including student scholar associations or overseas Chinese communities, have all been under scrutiny by the United States and Western countries. They could be spy organizations, intelligence agencies, or agents organizations. Now Xi Jinping openly revealed that the European and American Alumni Association has a united front nature, a political nature, and is under the leadership of the party. So this is indeed a major leak. Xi Jinping's letter is fraught with contradictions. Before 1949, it was definitely not under Communist Party leadership. It was only after 1949 that it fell under the Communist Party's leadership. Here Xi Jinping mentions United Front work, which involves espionage, intelligence work, and informant work. So this is a major leak. Furthermore, he makes a request. The European and American Alumni Association should enhance its political, advanced, and mass character, continue to serve as a talent pool for overseas study for the motherland, provide advice and expertise, serve as a civilian diplomatic force, strengthen ideological guidance and organizational development, gather talents from around the world for the development of the party and the country. He keeps emphasizing political and the party. This further reveals classified information, whether he admits it or not. the European and American Alumni Association, as well as various overseas hometown associations, university Chinese student associations, are now exposed by Xi Jinping as all being under the party's leadership, all United Front organizations, and all spy organizations. So, this is indeed a major leak. However, when he talks about the advisory board and contributions, it's unlikely that Xi Jinping, who doesn't even listen to the opinions of his own people or domestic experts, would listen to suggestions from overseas. This is just empty talk. In any case, it's a major leak. The General Secretary himself leading the leak is unprecedented in the history of Chinese leaders. Regardless of his subjective intentions, the objective effect is that he urgently wants to promote party leadership and support him, but the objective result is the collective destruction of the Chinese Communist Party's overseas United Front organizations, especially in the context of Western countries surrounding and suppressing Chinese Communist Party United Front organizations. Xi Jinping made this leak. He completely sacrificed the people who were working for him in United Front work. Whether or not they get completely wiped out, Xi Jinping personally has to take responsibility. He not only personally commands and deploys, but also personally leaks secrets.